Hello and welcome to Share Talk. Today I'm joined once again by Rolf Gerritsen, who's CEO at MetalNRG. How are you today, Rolf?
Very well, Zach. How are you?
Just when I thought I knew what MetalNRG was or is, you've sort of changed the game a bit. Is that right?
It's definitely an interesting proposition in that we're developing shovel-ready projects in partnership with EQTEC, who will be working as our technical, operational, and financial partner. The whole focus and the drive for MetalNRG is to invest in projects that offer relatively short-term access to revenue streams. And one is the projects that we're looking at with EQTEC definitely do that. The IRR is also extremely interesting of the various projects that we're looking at. And I think that in general, it's a very interesting sector, and a lot of money is being poured into it. And I think we'll see a lot of developments over the next few years. Not only has the technology advanced substantially, but there are some very, very interesting projects out there that can generate very good revenues for us. And that's why we've been interested in it and moved into it. We maintain gold, we maintain oil and gas, and we progress those assets at the same time.
But it helps that you're maybe providing a nod to the hippies and other tree-hugging type people who like more renewable things than fossil fuels and digging up holes in the ground.
Look, I think where we're headed is inevitable in many ways. And we've always said, Pierpaolo Rocco, who runs MetalNRG, and myself have always said, look, a transition in energy is going to very much come from within. I think we're seeing a shift. Just look at what's happening on the car manufacturing side. There's a big shift, and there's a lot of money going into this sector. So yeah, in many ways, a nod to the tree-hugging hippies. I don't know if I would call it such, but we're definitely moving towards a green environment. Let me just give you an idea here of what's going on in the world. In the next 15 years, they reckon that waste is going to double in terms of volume. And, addressing waste, which is a big issue, and the changes in government policy in terms of incineration and in terms of infill, is definitely offering development opportunities in the waste energy projects. And that's where, our partners, our technology partners are very strong, specifically on waste to energy and gasification processes. And it's of interest. It's a massive problem worldwide. It's not going away. And I'm delighted to be able to be part of hopefully that transition.
Right. I mean, in terms of the investment situation, I put on my cynical investor hat. It looks as though you, let's say, diversified the business a bit. You're not quite so binary on there being a boom in oil and gas or a boom in metals prices. So that's good. And I presume the energy area or renewable energy area is, or the clean energy area is much more, maybe in terms of revenues, rather more smooth, whereas fossil fuels tend to be sort of stop-start, or there's a lot of development lead-in, etc., etc. So is that the case, that there'll be a better flow to revenues, or at least from part of the business in that way?
Yeah, look, once we get the first few transactions going and we make the first few investments, as I said, we're looking for shovel-ready projects, so relatively short period of time to get into the revenue earning, and those revenues, once the development process has been gone through, should be much more stable and will allow us to invest in other areas as well. So stability on one hand. Oil and gas is quite volatile and has been over the last 12 months, and gold is there with Goldridge, and I think gold over the next 12 months is going to still be an interesting proposition. But definitely the mix of that portfolio gives us a bit of a balance, I would suggest. And what I'm trying to do is mitigate risk, and as I said before, move towards a revenue earning company as opposed to a company that continuously has to go back to market and hand in cap.
You're going to initiate a special vehicle for these projects. Does that mean that, let's say, once you made a project, you might sell it on, or is it going to be like a bit of toing and froing, a bit of turnover in that, or how's that going to work?
We've starting to develop a pipeline of viable projects with EQTEC, and that's what we're focused on. That the kind of projects that we're looking at will be, as I said, unlevered IRR of minimum 11%, which is quite healthy. Probably about 18 months away from production once the transaction is completed. Part of the due diligence that we'll do on the pipeline is what are the exits on these, if any. Some will operate, others we might package up and move on. So again, what I'm trying to do here is build flexibility in our approach that finds the best solution for the assets that we have.
And finally, I mean, you've gone into a sort of different area. Is there a chance of, next time we speak, you'll have gone into supermarkets, you'll have gone into technology? How broad is the remit of MetalNRG, or is this about it?
No, I think the focus is going to be very much on energy, very much on the commodities that we're in, and drive on those. Supermarkets is off the remit, definitely. I can guarantee you that. But in terms of natural resources and energy, we're taking quite a broad view, and we're very focused on, as I said, generating revenue in the shortest possible period of time so that we can not have to go back to market on a continuous basis.
Rolf Gerritsen, CEO of MetalNRG, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you very much.